My fellow Cameroonians, today is Saturday, the 20th day of the month of September 2025, and the time is 11:30 a.m. Eyumojok time. I come from Eyumojok subdivision, Manu division, southwest region of Cameroon. And I will be addressing two major topics in one message today. Two major topics in one message today. One, the outing of the daughter of President Paul Biya, Brenda Biya. The Brenda Biya's outing about herself and her father and the election, the presidential election that is ongoing in our country. I will be addressing that. Number two, I will be addressing the subject of the current lockdown that was imposed in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon. This message is for all Cameroonians, but especially for my Anglophone brothers and sisters. And I want you to take this time, this weekend, to assimilate this message and get it right. And let every Cameroonian, every Anglophone get this message. It's been long I have not addressed you guys in this manner. I've been writing, but now I want you to hear my voice, because after a long while you haven't heard my voice, and I want to speak today. It's very important. Again, my name is Success Nkongho, and it's my pleasure to address to you this message today. Please pay close attention. Recently, there is a video that is viral on the social media space, circulated all over the place, in Cameroon, out of Cameroon, in the diaspora, and even in foreign countries. How the daughter of President Paul Biya, Brenda Biya, has come out to say Cameroonians should not vote for her father, President Paul Biya, that he wants to kill her and that she will not vote for him. I want to say this categorically, and I want you to listen to me, brothers and sisters. I am not a political illiterate, neither am I an emotional infant. Whatever I hear, whatever I see, I analyze, I judge, I make sure I view it with the eyes of science. I use microscopic lenses to see beyond the surface into the reality of what is being said or done. And that is why on many occasions, my opinion has always been and will always be opposite to that of the general crowd, because I am not a bandwagoner. I am an opinion leader. I'm a political reformer. I am an actor of liberation. Now, I read political science. I have master's degree in political science from Atlantic International University, Miami, Florida, one of the most prestigious universities in the world. I am currently reading international relations in the National Open University of Nigeria. I understand the arts and sciences of politics. I analyze words and gestures. I know what politics mean. And Paul Biya is one of the best political science students in the world. So he's not a political novice. He knows what he's doing. And I know what he's doing. Having said that, the outing of Brenda Biya, the daughter of Paul Biya, The intention of that outing is not to discredit Paul Biya. Take note. It's not to discredit Paul Biya. The intention of that outing is to validate Paul Biya's political credentials. The intention of Brenda Biya's outing is to prove to the world that Paul Biya is tolerant, is not a dictator, and that he is a Democrat. That even in his own house, everyone has freedom of opinion and freedom of expression. It's a deliberate concoction concocted by Mr. Biya, orchestrated by Mr. Biya, ushered in by Brenda Biya, to prove that Biya is a democratic leader, is an example of democracy where people are free to say and do and belong where they want, how they want. Biya intends to use this to boost his political credential. He intends to use this as a campaign speech, as a campaign example, that if he was not democratic, his own daughter would not have an opposite opinion to his. It is a political strategy. It's a political razzmatazz. It's a political campaign tactics that wins the heart of gullible people. It's a political strategy that is intended to win the hearts of political illiterates who do not understand how politics function. Because politicians use words, they play with words, and those words resonate with the common man, and those same words will be used by the politicians to their own advantage at the detriment of the people that thought or thinks that these politicians mean well for them. Listen, such kind of strategies have been used over time by various politicians to win the sympathy, the attention of voters, to win the sympathy and the validation of the population. Now, let's take, for instance, 2008, Barack Obama was in a campaign where some people stood up and protested against it in his campaign, and he did not agitate. He said they should allow them, it is their right. That further validated Barack Obama as a democratic figure. Yes, it further validated Barack Obama as a democratic figure. In South Africa, some of the members of ANC parties also rallied and protested against Nelson Mandela. He tolerated that. He did not react to it. And that validated the fact that Nelson Mandela is a democratic figure. And it endeared him before the people. The people loved him the more, and they consider him today as the father of democracy in South Africa. Back to Barack Obama. There are things people do to win the sympathy of voters. That is political strategy. For instance, 2008, Barack Obama's grandmother, who was the one that raised him, died suddenly. Died prior to election. And Barack Obama climbed the stage in the course of his campaign and wept for the mother that died. And this made Americans to pity him the more. That this woman that is the only one that raised him, that invested in him, has just died. Let's encourage him and vote for him. Now, in the 90s in Cameroon, listen carefully. A certain man is of late now Oben Peter Ashu, he come from Manu as myself. There was protest, riot in Bamenda. He was the SDO then, senior divisional officer. And protesters invaded his house. He escaped. And his wife was burnt alive. His wife was burnt alive in the house in the 90s. And that alone ignited the sympathy of President Biya, who called him and compensated him for losing his wife with the appointment of a governor of Southwest Province then. That's how Ben Peter became governor from senior division officer. It also happened in the 2018 thereabout. I think 2017, 2018 thereabout. All of a sudden, some politicians heard that Biya is looking for prime minister instead of Philemon Yang, that was prime minister then. All of a sudden, one of the aspirants got his house burnt. His house got burnt, rather. His house got burnt in a condo titi in his village. And the thing went viral. A few days later, the president called him. He said, hey, yeah, I heard that your house got burnt. He said, sir, I am a victim of this thing, but we are trying to fix things. That made the president to pity him. I said, listen, would you like to be my prime minister so we can fix this matter? He said, with all pleasure. That is how Dion Gute was appointed the prime minister of Cameroon. It's a political strategy. It's a political strategy. That is how Dion Gute was appointed the prime minister of Cameroon. Recent election in America, Donald Trump organized an in-house assassination attempt. Yes. Organized an in-house assassination attempt on his own life, whereby he was shot and the bullet got him on the ear. That made Americans to pity him the more and gave him their support. Americans began to sympathize with him. And he made himself appear as a victim of the system of Joe Biden. Then Americans began to see the level of sympathy towards Donald Trump increased like wildfire. That is what happened. There are so many examples one could quote. Listen, I am a political technocrat. Exactly what Biya is trying to do today. Exactly what Biya is trying to do today. Using Brenda Biya to appear as though she is an opposition from the house. To give the impression that oppositions are allowed. That he's not a dictator. That he's a democrat. Freedom of opinion are allowed. Freedom of expression is allowed. That even in his own house, he's been opposed, yet he remains focused on leading the nation without attacking opposition leader. That is the impression Biya is trying to create using Brenda Biya to the public. Take note. That is the aim of the outing of Brenda Biya. And I bet you, Biya is going to use that as a campaign speech. Biya is going to use that as a campaign strategy to deceive gullible Cameroonians and political illiterates who do not understand the gimmicks of politics. Very important. So, dear Cameroonians, do not fall for that. Do not fall for that. I repeat, do not fall for that. It's a political strategy. Brenda was sent by her father to do what she did, to appear as though she's an opponent in the house, to give the impression to the population and international community at large that Paul Biya is a Democrat and that freedom of expression and freedom of opinion is allowed in Cameroon and that he is not a dictator. That is the landing page. That is the intent. That is the original aim. That is the objective of the outing of Brenda Biya. Hausa Manse Shikena Yakanakari. Okay. Frenchman say endpoint terminate. Now, to my Anglophone brothers and sisters, I want you to know and re-know today and forever that Paul Biya does not love Anglophones. I repeat, I want you to know and re-know and know that Paul Biya does not love Anglophones. As a matter of fact, if it's left for him, Anglophones will not even exist. If it's up to him, Anglophone community would have been eradicated from the map. That is Paul Biya for you. And I will analyze this for your practical understanding. First of all, I want you to know that Paul Biya is pretending as though he does not understand the agitation and the cause of the Anglophone crisis. Don't forget, this crisis began in 1972 when the federal constitution was cancelled by a fraudulent referendum that provoked the Anglophone community. And Mr. Biya was among the committee. There are three people who were still alive. One just died. Professor Dorothy Njomo, Paul Biya, and His Excellency Abuemaju. He just died. May his soul rest in peace. Now, these three people were among the committee that Ayijo sent to create a commission to understand the agitation of the Anglophones and to resolve the matter. So Paul Biya masters what the Anglophones are agitating for. He is pretending as though he does not. He knows it more than Dion Guti. He knows it more than Atanganji. He knows it more than you and I. But he is pretending. Why? Because, first of all, the crisis was created by Paul Biya. And I'll come to that. To project to you how Paul Biya hates Anglophone. Number one, since the existence of Sonara over 50 years today, Anglophones, no Anglophone has ever been a general manager in Sonara. Yet, all the monies from Sonara are being taken to the Francophone region, while Limbe, that houses Sonara, remains undeveloped. In fact, even the tax of Sonara that's supposed to be paid in the community where Sonara is for the development of that community, that tax is being taken to Douala to develop Douala and not Limbe. 85% of the workers in Sonara, that is in Limbe, are all Francophones. Take note. While Anglophones who owns a company called Sonara in their own house are looking for jobs all over the place. Take note. CDC is in Southwest, but the head office that's supposed to be in Southwest, the administrative command point, is in the Francophone region. Sonel, or Enio, how you may call it, that supplies light that is in southwest and northwest. The switch button to off the light or on the light is not in southwest nor in northwest. The switch to turn on and turn off the light of northwest for a new is located in Bafusam. The switch to turn on the light and turn off the light in southwest is located in Douala, and not in Bamenda and not in Biya. No Anglophone has ever risen to the position of the Secretary General of the Presidency in Cameroon. None. None. I repeat, none. Anglophones have risen to the position of Vice, Deputy, Assistant, Secretary General. No one has ever risen to that position, despite their qualification and the competence. That's how much Biya hates Anglophones. No Anglophone has ever been Minister of Finance, not in the dream. No Anglophone has ever been a Minister of Foreign Affairs. No Anglophone has ever been a Minister of Defense in Cameroon. Strategic ministerial positions are refused to Anglophones and are given to others. This is how much Biya hates Anglophones. This is how much Biya hates Anglophones. My fellow Anglophones, my fellow Cameroonians, the office of the Prime Minister that Biya is using to camouflage is a window dressing. Is to blindfold us that there's a president, there's a president, and there's a prime minister. For your information, according to administrative structure in Cameroon or constitutional successorship in Cameroon, in the absence of President Biya, the person that takes over the country is Nyat, the president of the Senate. In the absence of the president of the Senate, the person that takes over from Biya is the president of the National Assembly, Kavayege. In the absence of Kavayege, the person that takes over is the president of the Constitutional Council, Atangana Clement. In the absence of Atangana Clement, the next person that takes over might be the president of the Supreme Court. So you see, the prime minister comes the fourth or fifth position in successorship. Yet they are deceiving you that we have a prime minister, powerless, toothless bulldog. A prime minister cannot sign a signature without seeking the consent of a secretary general of the presidency. A prime minister that cannot travel without the approval of the secretary general of the presidency. Even the ordinary secretary general of the presidency is more powerful than the prime minister. This is how Biya hates Anglophones. This is how Biya hates Anglophones. This is how much he hates Anglophones. Yet, he's asking you, Anglophones, to vote for him. For what? How? Why? Anglophone people, you must shine your eye. You should know by now that even the Anglophone crisis, that they are the cause, they are still the benefactor and beneficiary of the crisis. I will explain. They told you that special status was created. Yes, I agree. That's a razzmatazz anyway. It's a razzmatazz. Anglophones never asked for that anyway, but let's assume that we did. All those who benefit from this special status, such as House of Chiefs, such as regional councillors or whatever, all are CPDM members. All. I mean, all. The word all means including everything, or including everyone and excluding no one. All are CPDM. So, even in the crisis, They created a system where they will still be benefiting from the suffering and the blood of our people. You get? They caused us pain. We went to the street to agitate. They arrested us, killed us, imprisoned us, chased us into exile. Then the heat continued. They killed people, and some two were killed. In the course of that, in the course of this killing, they created a system where money will be generated and they will be benefiting from that same money, a large portion of it. Are you aware that Battalion Intervention Rapid, that is owned by Nkongho, makes at least 7 to 12 billion CFA every month from the Anglophone region? Listen, Biya hates Anglophone with passion. In 1992, John Fundi won the presidential election. You can ask Aben Zonga. 1997, John Fundi, an Anglophone, won the presidential election. You can ask Aben Zonga. Yet, Biya refused to give him because he is an Anglophone. Because he's an Anglophone. Biya has vowed by his ancestors that Anglophone man will never be free in Cameroon. He has vowed by the blood of his great-grandchildren that no Anglophone will rise to anything important in Cameroon. The only thing they do with Anglophones in Cameroon is to do what they call in French semblance, to appoint Anglophone in very insignificant or privileged slave positions so they can exploit that same Anglophone to their own advantage, like what they are doing with Atanganji today. That's like what they are doing with Takana. So any work they work with an Anglophone is to empower that Anglophone to destroy Anglophone and Anglophone community. Nothing less, nothing more. He doesn't see Anglophones as important people. He doesn't. He does not see Anglophone as important. He doesn't see them as important people. Have you ever seen Paul Biya in his end of year speech or in his National Youth Day speech made a speech in English by mistake? Let's be frank to ourselves. They are all in French language, translated by an Anglophone person in English, because Paul Biya hates Anglophone to the point that for 43 years he has been in power. He does not care about learning English. He's not interested. He's not interested. That's how much he hates us. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a damn about that. That's how much he hates us. Sometimes when people criticize and make such statements like this, he will want to camouflage by reading just a phrase that he has crammed over time. It's what was written that he reads, and yet his pronunciations are very poor. Very short phrase, not even a full letter. Because he's not interested, he will never be interested. The only thing that interests Paul Biya in the Anglophone region is the proceeds from our national resources, our natural resources, period. What interests Paul Biya is what Sonara gives to him, is what Pamo gives to him, is what CDC gives to him. In fact, for your information, Sonara is the only industry in Cameroon since creation that up to today, Cameroonians don't know where the money goes to. All the money goes to President Biya. All, not some. Sonara alone is capable to make every Anglophone child a millionaire. Sonara alone. Not to talk about CDC and Pamo. I don't want to talk about others like Nduti, Lobe. Let's talk about these 2, 3. So, as As far as Biya is concerned, Anglophones are just people who owns a territory that has resources that he is taking advantage of. You know, it's just like a gigolo. A gigolo who doesn't have a job but sees a beautiful lady that he doesn't love, who has money. He pretends to marry or love her, and they'll be having sex while he is taking her money away. That is crime against humanity. It's crime against humanity. That's abomination. It's an abomination continent, not even an abomination. So he's not in love with you at all. He's just in love with what you give. He's just in love with your resources. That's all. Nothing else interests Biya. Nothing else interests Biya. I mean, nothing else interests Biya. If you think I'm lying, keep deceiving yourself. Keep deceiving yourself. You see, Anglophones who align with Biya because of the promise he has given to them or the little promise he gives to them, they are worse than the devil. Listen and listen well. I, successful Nkongho, have had several opportunities. I mean, plenty of opportunities to belong in a Biya regime. I have turned them down on various occasions. Why? Number one, I cannot join a sinking ship. Number two, you cannot use me to mock at Anglophones. Number three, if you want to bless Anglophone or to reward Anglophone for what belongs to them, it's not by giving less than 1% of Anglophones privileged position. It's by creating the opportunities we deserve, using our resources for all Anglophones to benefit from. That's what will make the people know that you really honor us, believe in us, love us. Biya is not interested. Biya knows what to do to end the crisis. By the way, he created it. He will never do it because the crises are on his advantage. And that is why in this presidential election, I'll get there in a few minutes to come, he is still using the crisis to get what he wants. The same way he did in 2018. Because the government has militias. I have said in many years, and I will say it again today, Ambazonia is a product of Anglozonians. And Anglozonians are product of Yaoundezonians. Yaoundezonians manufactured Anglozonians who manufactured Ambazonians for the benefit of Yaoundezonians. And why the Anglozonians have a little share, very small, not up to 5%. And they are bragging with very careless jeeps around. That's what happened. So I can tell you for free, listen, I'm a technocrat. The crisis is a business. In fact, many so-called Ambazonians are victims of what they found themselves into. In another episode, I will explain this, but I've done so in many years behind. You understand me? They are victims. So if you don't understand politics, you will be pushed to a point by a politician to commit suicide, then still be guilty for killing a human being. That's how politicians, they know how to play this game. Listen, Biya knows what to do to end this crisis in 1 second. He will never do it. He can never do it because it advantages him, it profits him. In criminal detection and prevention, I also read criminal detection and prevention. Criminology, OND level, honorary national diploma. They ask a simple question in French, à qui profite le crime? Who benefits from the crime? Whoever is the beneficiary of the murder, of the assassination, of the theft, of the whatever, is the masterminder of the crime. Who benefit from this crisis? If you get the answer, then you will know who created the crisis. Simple. Simple. Stop. Listen. All these Ayabachos, Melissa Kwangas, they were just lured into it because of their own greed too. They just lured into it. And when they came now, they started committing their own things. Then the real committers now entered in and took over. They said, let's make the billions. Then blame the Ayabachos. So the Melissa Kwangas, and you too, Mumu, you're not going to investigate anything. Just they do. Follow. That is what is going on. I have said on several occasions, it's not every atrocity that we blame it on Brazil. We have to find out. And I've done my due diligence in the past years. And I make sure before God and man and posterity, my conscience is clear. No matter the camp I belong in. So this crisis is their business. That is Biya's business. Listen. Biya hates Anglophone to the point where we have Bafut Airport, Bisonaba Airport, Tico Airport, Nkongho Titi Airport, and many other airports. Cameroon has enough money to revive those airports and give at least 2 or 3 of them international standards. But Biya will never do it because by all means, you must travel 5-7 hours from Bamenda to fly in Douala. Who are you? Who are you? You must travel 5 hours, 7 hours from Mamfi to travel in Douala. They not born you well to have your own airport. You are not a human being enough to have your own airport. Who are you? I remember in the 90s, this is what Ahijo left. I, Success Nkongho, witness aeroplane, no helicopter, from Bisonabang to Bamenda, 5,000 CFA when the roads were bad. 5,000 CFA. In the 80s, there used to be avion taxi in Cameroon. Probably has killed all of these things. Friends, Paul Biya does not want Anglophone to own anything. We have power generating companies, they are all dead. All dead in the hands of Paul Biya. All dead. He's not interested. Our roads are all dilapidated. All. Not some. All. All. Then he will use some very greedy, unpatriotic, wicked Anglophones whom he has given small change to oppress the remaining ones, then come and give us fake promise during campaign. We only see these people during campaign. Bamenda Babaji Road that have been spoiled for so many years, they don't give a damn. But the other day, he sent the privileged slave Prime Minister Diongote to go and dedicate it. And even before the dedication was over, electric poles were already falling on the road. All these is to blindfold us so that we can elect and campaign and vote for Biya. How? Why? Let's wake up. Let's wake up. I said, let's wake up. We have to wake up. Don't be fool forever. A fool at 40 is a fool forever. Somebody has deceived you for 43 years and you still allow him to deceive you, then your own is finished. Then you will never have sense. Maitre Alice Nkongho, she said she doesn't listen to the speech of President Paul Biya again. I do not. You'll be the biggest fool for somebody who have deceived you for more than 40 years. You still listen. What are you listening to? Everything he said, he never kept one by mistake. The Limbe deep sea port that was promised Anglophone over 50 years ago, up till today, every year, Paul Biya keeps promising. It has never come to fruition. But Kribi deep sea port that just yesterday was promised is now operating for years, functional for years as we speak. This is how much Paul Biya hates Anglophone. And yet, you want to carry your valuable vote to vote for a devil like that, then you're wicked to yourself and your children. You're wicked to yourself and your children. Listen, let me tell Anglophones. If I want to be in any position in the Biya's regime, I know what to do, and I'll be there in the few months to come. Because I know what they want to see and want to hear. I know who they are. But they have noticed that I'm not that type that can be used against my people, against my conscience. They know that so well. They know that so well. My fellow Anglophones, wake up. I told you this message is going to be lengthy, but I'll soon be over. But you need it. And I want you to share this message with every Anglophone and every Cameroonian in this planet. In fact, even the ones who are dead, forward it to their phone number. Somehow they'll find a way to listen to it. Every Anglophone son and daughter, every child born in the land of the English-speaking people of Cameroon must hear this message. This is how wicked Biya is. Somebody will say the message is more than 50 minutes. And so what? Take the time to listen to a message of 50 minutes or 1 hour that can free you than for you to listen to the lies of Biya and his agents that have been sent to deceive people in the Anglophone regions. It's how wicked Biya is. Biya is heartless. Now, the words of all Nkongho. Are you aware that Nkongho does not even see Anglophones as human beings? As far as Nkongho, in fact, the description of given to Biya about Anglophone, Nkongho's own is times 1,000 more wicked to Anglophone than Biya. Nkongho does not see Anglophone as living things as we speak. He doesn't see Anglophone as living things, talk less of living beings, talk less of human beings. The only reason Nkongho is working with Anglophones is to use them to destroy Anglophones, to use them to destroy Anglophone community. Period. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. All the red oil from palm oil, they will use militias. Nkongho has militias. Yes, he has militias. At least 70 militias controlled by Nkongho. True Anglophone elites, whom I refer to as Anglozonians. And he is the chief of the Yaoundezonians. He uses them to create militias in the Anglophone region. And those militias will commit atrocities and they'll hang them on the neck of Ambazonians while they are making their monies. They have used militias to chase people not to work in palm oil, to chase workers not to work in palm oil and CDC. Meanwhile, they are sending the P, their commandant de companies, their brigade commanders, to carry our national, our oil, our rubber, and sell and put the money in their private pocket. Meanwhile, the state and Anglophone people are drowning in poverty. That's what is happening. Those of you from India, you know what I'm saying is 150% true. Ayafo Florence was not killed by Ambazonians. Take note, I have said this and I will continue to say it. She was beheaded. She was beheaded by the militias owned by Nkongho, coordinated by Atanganji and Bankwi. Period. Period. The children of the school in Ekondo Titi, as well as the children of the school in Kumba, were all massacred by the militias of Nkongho, not by Ambazonian fighters. Take note. Take note. Listen, I want you to know that at a certain point in time, I had in my custody at least 300 Ambazonian fighters that I spoke to them for peace, and they lived with me for at least 10 months. Among them, there were plenty generals. Some of them are still alive, some of them have died. Listen, the revelations I got, the confessions I got, are too plentiful. If I vomit 10% of them, Cameroon will scatter. Some of the people you think they are people of integrity, they are all Ambazonians, sponsored sponsors. For instance, Why is Field Marshal who died, Field Marshal of the BLM, why has his phone not been exploited up to today? Because they discovered a communication. When they picked his phone, they discovered a communication between him and some state authorities. Cordial communication, friendly or boy fan. Why? If that phone's content is put out there, wallahi tallahi, Cameroon will scatter. Cameroon will scatter. Nkongho cannot. He cannot. So those children that were assassinated or massacred at the school in Nkongho and Kumba, the one in Kumba took place on the 24th of October 2020. The one in Nkongho took place on the 24th of November, just 24, 2021, almost the same day. This kind of coordinated atrocity cannot be done by uncoordinated Amazonians. Impossible. These boys that were with me confess. The day, listen and listen very well. The very day the children of Nkongho school were massacred. Oh, success. 5 minutes later, some very stupid Anglophones who call themselves activists, I don't know what they call themselves, they said it's this man, 10 Kobo. 10 Kobo, that was not even in Cameroon as at that day. 10 Kobo whose boys were out of that territory as at that day. How could they have? How is it possible that you and the whole of your family are in Bafoussam on Friday morning, afternoon, evening, and night? And that same day, Friday afternoon, it is said that you slap somebody in Nkongho. How? Are you omnipresent? How? I just, people who know science, just do the equation. Let me know how it can happen. How? Oh, the more time you come. The one in Kumba, look at army barracks, look at gendarmerie posts, look at, surrounded by security forces. These guys operated for about 1 hour and left. Nobody was arrested. Yet you say Amazonians did it. How? How? Amazonians are not that coordinated. Don't forget, I was one of their brains when I was there. You can't deceive me about anything that is happening in this crisis. You cannot. You can deceive others who are just reading on social media. I didn't read, I acted. I was one of the brains. So I am not one of the, we made it and people heard it. You understand me? So I was not one of those who heard things that happened or didn't happen. I was one of those who were active. So there is no Amazonian leader on earth, living or dead. No one that never tap something from my brain in those days until I left them. No one. No one. I was the leader of the Amazonian intelligence FBI. I was the leader. I was the one who created it. I was the one who created a situation room. So you can't fool me. Even though I left them, I know how they can operate, where they can operate, what they can do, what they cannot do. I know the level of their courage and the level of their weakness. I know their strength and their weaknesses. You can't deceive me otherwise. And that is why when it was time for me to preach peace, it was easy for me. There was nobody I did not reach. And there was nobody I could not convince and convert. Because I know where to touch. Period. So, this regime of Biya, coordinated by Mr. Nkongho, has a lot of militias. They are the ones that killed the children in Nkongho. They killed the children in Kumba. Yet, they organized state burial, from which the money the state released to organize state burials and compensate the families. They gave the family 10%. Everything, 90% entered their pocket. What? Period. Nothing will happen. Now we here. That's how they operate. That is how they operate. Have you ever asked yourself why Nkongho so much hates me? With all the things I've done for Cameroon, by convincing Anglophone refugees and Amazonian fighters to come and lay down their way, yet the man doesn't like me. Do you know why? because I did not want to work according to his precept to make this thing a business against my own people and make the money and gain the position. I can't do it. I cannot try it. But anybody who does that, the following day you'll be promoted now. You'll be promoted. That is not a problem. Promoted. And these idiots who are following him and getting small change. See, if I wanted to follow Nkongho, if I don't get aeroplane by now, when I follow you, I'm not getting nothing safe. No, nothing. You only give a flight ticket for go this and that, the cost modem. If I wanted to follow Nkongho, if I don't get aeroplane by now, I know what to do, and my work is so competent. Yes. Simple. But I'm not great. So, Anglophone people, wake up. Wake up. These people don't like you. Nkongho don't like you. Biya don't love you at all. They don't consider you as human beings. Now, to the Ambazonians who have imposed lockdown in the Anglophone region, you know what you've just done? You've shot yourself on the leg, then expect your neighbor to cry the pain. That's the height of stupidity and foolishness. Height of stupidity and foolishness. Height of stupidity and foolishness. You have a presidential candidate by the name Issa Chiruma Bakari, who have promised to release all your prisoners unconditionally, who have promised to bring you on a sincere, inclusive dialogue table, who have promised that no one will be arrested for their political opinion or political affiliation, who have promised that all their activists who are in the diaspora will be allowed to come back home to build the country, who have promised that it's never going to demonize any Ambazonian or anyone seeking for secession. It's an opportunity to give him a listening ear and give him a chance. Instead of doing that, you have decided to say there's lockdown. You know that lockdown is empowering Mr. Biya and discouraging opposition. So, are you, Ambazonians, telling me that you are partnering with Biya? That's the impression. Because I would rather everybody cannot be your enemy. At least you should have friends. No, not everybody in Cameroon should be your enemy. I would rather, that's common sense and common wisdom. I would rather befriend Issa Chiruma, who have a soft spot for Ambazonians, than to give a chance to Biya, who doesn't see Ambazonians or Anglophones as human beings. Simple. Simple. That lockdown is on the advantage of Biya, because he will campaign right to the deepest village and declare himself winner in Southwest and Northwest. And you and I know in a free and fair election in Cameroon, Biya can never win in Anglophone region. 2018, you made him to win in Anglophone region. You, the Ambazonians, you did. But yet, you are praying for him to fall. I don't want to say you are stupid. In fact, I don't want to say you are hyper stupid. I don't want to say you are super stupid. I don't want to say that. Common sense, we need it. You want Biya to fall, but your policies are promoting him to stand. Then you lack wisdom. You lack wisdom. Because you know Biya is going to campaign with his military, with his police and gendarme. And the opposition will be scared because of your lockdown. Instead of attacking Biya, instead of hindering Biya and giving way for opposition, you're hindering the opposition and giving way for Biya. Maybe, just like some of us know that many of you are working for Biya. We know it. And you know I know what I'm saying when I'm talking. So I'm calling on the Anglophone population and the Ambazonian leaders at home and abroad. If you love yourself, if you like this crisis to end, if you want peace, if your people are tired of suffering, if you want to see a bright new day in our regions, you want to see justice, fairness, and equality, you want to see peace reign in our community, Please don't hinder the opposition. Don't give out policy that will hinder opposition. Allow the community to be free for people to vote. And of course, you know whether you're locked down or not, Pobia's people will campaign in their region and nothing will stop them. And you will not stop them. You cannot stop them. You know you have never stopped them and you cannot stop them. So the only people you might stop are the opposition, who are the people who love you. How dare you hinder your lovers and promote your haters? How dare you do that? Finally, any vote that is cast for Biya is a vote cast for Nkongho. I repeat, any vote that is cast for Biya is a vote cast for Nkongho. I have told you time and again, there are various levels of coup d'etat. We have military coup d'etat that cannot happen in Cameroon because the army is not united. And there's a way Biya programmed them. 2, medical coup d'etat that is likely to happen soon. 3, administrative coup d'etat that has already happened because Nkongho have positioned his people in all administrative and security position whereby he is in charge almost 90%. The only thing Nkongho is not in charge now is that Nkongho is practically the leader of Cameroon, but the only thing he's not in charge now is not the commander-in-chief, because there's nothing like deputy commander-in-chief in law. It's commander-in-chief. That's the only thing Nkongho is not in charge fully. But the president is already. Administratively, he has positioned himself as president. He's doing what the president does. The commander-in-chief is what is lacking. So how does he plan to become the commander-in-chief? By using Biya, to send Biya at the front for people to vote Biya. Once Biya is voted, he will use Chantal Biya to appoint him as a vice president and make the vice president the constitutional successor of the president. Then nature will either call Biya home or Biya resigns and he automatically becomes the commander-in-chief of Cameroon. So any vote for Biya is a vote for Nkongho. And you know Nkongho is an oppressor to the core. He's a hater of humans. He's a hater of Anglophones. So if you like your own freedom, vote for Issa Chiruma Bakare. Support Issa Chiruma Bakare. Give way for Issa Chiruma Bakare. Promote Issa Chiruma Bakare. And you will thank me later. Anglophones, I have spoken to you from my heart. In the past, I did say, many of which were neglected, some of which were taken into consideration. But after a while, everything I said came to pass. This particular one too will come to pass. I am not a politician by profession or career. So I don't speak with the both sides of my mouth. What I say is what I do. And I mean what I've just said. It's up to you to decide your destiny. Should you decide to remain enslaved perpetually forever, so be it. Because definitely, Mr. Biya will no longer empower one day. And Nkongho will take over if you continue to vote Mr. Biya. And your suffering will continue maybe for another 60 years again. If you want this pain and suffering to end, the only way to go is Issa Chiruma Bakare. Some of you will refer to, hey, what did he say during the Anglophone crisis? Rubbish. Children are speaking. Adults are speaking. Listen, that's the word of children. I'm speaking as an adult politically. Issa Chiruma was a minister under Biya. He was working according to the dictates of Biya. He swore by the constitution to follow what his hierarchy told him to do. And that's exactly what he did. You can't blame him for that. You blame the person that gave the instruction and not the person that carried the message to you. You should know that by now at your political age. He was just a messenger. He wasn't the sender. He's a sent. He wasn't the sender. You should blame the sender, who is Biya, and not the sent, who was Issa Chiroma Bakare. However, he has turned away from those ways. Everyone can change, everyone can repent. Paul was Saul before, a persecutor, became a church planter. Paul was a persecutor, became an apostle, and he became one of the best. We have had freedom fighters who were called terrorists, rebels who were called terrorists in the past, but later, when they turned from their ways, they became the best leaders. Issa Chiruma has made a U-turn from the ways of Mr. Biya. I think Cameroonians, for now, should give him the benefit of that and vote for him. This message is approved by me, Successful Nkongho. And I want all Cameroonians, especially Anglophones, should take their time during this weekend and listen to the message from start to end. Fatherland above all. God bless you.